I think we would continue our masterclass, and I would like to introduce another guest who we have invited. He came from England, although he is not a born British.
No, I'm not, no.
No, he's not. It is Charlie Ryzek. He's a Trinity operator. Please give him a hand.
Oh, thank you. Ooh, thank you, everyone. Yes.
And we met us because we at ARRI Rental were equipping the Roger Deakins production 1917, and he was selected by Mr. Deakins to do the Trinity work on 1917.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Congrats for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're very much looking forward to seeing the film. We have seen a couple of BTS shots, some trailers. That's stunning work, and I think everybody's waiting to see that. So now the question is actually, why is somebody using a Trinity system? What is it doing? What is a difference to existing technology? Charlie.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. Please bear with me as we mumble along with this interview. So the Trinity is a hybrid camera stabilization system. It's based on your traditional mechanical sled combined with a two-axis gimbal. Now, the combination of these two technologies will allow the Trinity to be used almost as a mini techno crane on you as you wish. You no longer need to move the camera as you would in a traditional Steadicam sense, and that translates to a huge amount of coverage in terms of angles that the Trinity can do. The first party trick, I guess, that the Trinity can offer is the ability to boom. The booming range is much further now, so that obviously does translate by allowing you for a more versatile rig to have on set. And the more versatile the rig is, that translates to having more coverage or being able to move quick, being able to offer more angles on the go. And that's really what the Trinity rig is about. You know.
I hope that we're going to see that in a minute, but I have a couple of questions first.
Please.
So imagine you would shoot a film with Julio.
Uh-huh.
So you would be kind of the second unit. No, you would be kind of the operator, the camera operator.
Yeah.
So how does a camera operator synchronize with the responsible director of photography? Because he might be half a kilometer away, he might be somewhere else, and you are doing the framing. How does he tell you how to frame, and how do you respond to that?
Obviously, with every job, the requirements are different, but usually as a camera operator, you're there to support the DP and support his vision. And your work, you end up working really close with the actors
So is he kind of constantly talking to your ear and saying, go wider, go closer?
All right, so you're talking about specifically if like we are using a Trinity rig with the DP. Yeah, of course. So the other part of the trick with the Trinity, it's being a hybrid system, and there's a two-axis stabilized gimbal where the camera really sits in there that allows for remote control. For remote controlling the camera, that translates that the DP is able to control the camera while you are concentrating on maybe keeping up with the action, or it opens the possibility for dual operation with the Trinity.
And so you, of course, also work with a focus puller?
Yes,
obviously?
Sure.
So in this case, we have again Gunnar.
We'll try to be subtle with you. We'll keep the movements subtle and as predictable as possible.
No, be brutal.
No worries. Yeah, sure.
So, you know, this device goes up and down, but when has the camera to go up and down? Is this often happening in the shot, or is it just for changing the different shots?
Sure. The fact that the Trinity allows you to boom throughout quite a high range doesn't mean that you need to use it all the time. But the fact that you are able to offer the DP these angles or these heights, and then knowing how important camera positioning is, that's where, the Trinity rig becomes an incredibly valuable asset to have in set for any DP, again, because when it comes to coverage, or when you are short on time, or suddenly the DP will come to you and say, oh, can we do this shot in high mode now, or can we do it in low mode? With traditional systems, you are restricted with the fact that if you need to switch modes, you end up having to balance the rig, and that translates in costing you time. And the funny thing is, many times you will offer low mode and then say, oh, this is too low. Can I please go back to high mode? And guess what? That's again going to cost you another 5-10 minutes to be able to go back to high mode. But on top of that, what's unique with the Trinity, and that's where the Trinity is, the feeling of the shot that the Trinity is producing, it ties more with your dolly and techno crane shots. The fact that it combines the fluidity from a Steadicam stabilization system to the precision that you get from a 2-axis gimbal, that combination really is quite unique, because again, it takes away the undesired shakiness sometimes if you want with the camera, and that becomes like as an effect that you can create rather than this is something that you'll have to live with because the system probably not able to produce such a smooth shot.
Yeah. Roger Deakins was saying that in an interview which we conducted in July, that he felt that the Trinity shots were very, very stable. I think it was his first time that he used it. And so he was a fan of it because the shots were smoother and more stable and not that much irritated. And
exactly
somehow
that.
Feeling the movement of this. But what is actually all included, and maybe you can dress up yourself.
Sure.
And then we can see what you actually do there. So there's a vest similar to what we know from the Steadicam?
Yeah. With the vest, obviously, the job of the vest is to allow you to mount the system on yourself. It does help by distributing the weight equally on your body. With this vest, it's a back-mounted vest, and this is a vest that specifically works
like a backpack,
really well with the Trinity system. Knowing again with the Trinity, because when you're working with it, to use the full range of the system, you find yourself sending the camera away from you. And again, that adds to diversity of the shots that you are able to do with the rig. And with this specific vest, that really allows you to, it gives more support in terms of the further away you send the camera from you, the weight almost feels that it's pushing on you from the back, rather than pushing down on your spine. It allows you to run for longer, be able to run longer stints, preserve your energy.
How heavy is all this stuff together?
You're running around 40 to 45 kilograms, depending on the camera setup, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. Obviously, with the Mini LF being such a small camera and small body, it's a perfect camera to be used on the Trinity. But you can use anything from most of the range cameras coming from ARRI, apart from the 65. In terms of film cameras, you're able to use the 416 and 235 film cameras, and we've flown those cameras safely on the Trinity.
So how's that called, that piece here?
This is an arm, it's a Steadicam arm, and this is the piece that takes away your footsteps from the camera and allows you to carry the weight. Basically, the arm is doing most of the work and translating the weight of the camera system onto your body.
Okay, but now comes the trick.
Not much trick to it, it's just...
Okay, so now...
Right.
So how long does it take for you to put on the Alexa Mini and ELF and to adjust it? For example, if you would change the lens,
changing the lens on the Trinity system is relatively quick. Again, the only balancing you will have to do inside the ring is the fore and after. It's relatively a quick setup. I'm sure now with a bit, when Julio will ask for a different focal length, this is something that we'll be able to demonstrate as well.
Okay. Can you do a couple of moves maybe in our
Sure. Is there anything specific maybe Julio would like to help us block something?
Well, why don't you pivot around on him? The beauty of this rig, and I'm familiar with something similar to it called the AR, which is slightly different, but similar idea, is that very quickly you change perspective, right? So we were talking about shooting a movie with this kind of perspective, And for example, if in this shot it was very important that he just got married and he's having an affair with somebody,
No affair.
then
Earlier.
you might come down, you might see that, this part of the story, and then you might come back up again. Never mind the shadows, but you see, it changes the perspective of the point of view. And it's amazing how a simple shot, for example, someone at a typewriter, that's usually a boring shot. You shoot it from one angle and you shoot it from the other angle, and it's boring. With this rig, let's say I was in a typewriter, from right here, he can be on my face. Go ahead and tilt up, stay low and tilt up on my face. So I'm on a computer, right? You can come up on my face, rise up, and then come around to my computer. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So pivot around my shoulder, start rising, rise, and then he's going to come over my shoulder onto what I'm typing here. So you've taken a shot that's sort of ordinary and you turn it into something because you're able to go from low to high. My favorite shot with this rig is when somebody's running towards you and you start down on the ground, and it's very dramatic. And as somebody's running, you're low, and at the last minute, you rise up to his face. I've done that shot a couple of times, and it's really powerful because you're changing perspective, and it has a lot of strength to it. If you want to work as his model, I'm lighting a little thing over here in the back.
Again, about so how did you get into that thing? Have you been Steadicam operator before? Or
Yes, basically
dolly
after.
man, or?
Yeah, no. After I graduated from uni, I was always fascinated by camera moves. I'll watch films and I'll always look how the camera was moved and try to analyze what trick was used to move the camera, till I got the opportunity to see a Steadicam for the first time, and I thought, like, yeah, this is it. I started with Steadicam back in 2004. Was always looking for ways to move the camera. Steadicam has its limitation. It's a beautiful system. It can do quite a lot till the technology started developing and 3-axis gimbals came about. And that was around 2011, I believe. So I had a company called MotionHead, and we used to specialize in offering camera tracking solutions, from remote controlled stuff, from buggy cam to cable cam to aerial stuff, basically anything that has to do with moving the camera.
So you are owning the gear also?
Yes.
Does all Steadicam or Trinity operator own their systems?
Yes, with the Steadicam and Trinity, yeah, of course, you would want to own the system. It's something, it's very personal. You need to adapt to it, or you need to adapt the rig to your own liking in terms of how you operate, or how it's like wearing a suit, really. The more tailored the suit is, the more comfortable you are with the setup.
And how is it usually? Are you making a proposal how to move, or is the DP actually saying it's vicious?
Yeah, the process really depends on what you're filming or on the DP himself. You are there really to listen and digest and to try to adapt to the DP's visual approach. And obviously, if there is a space or there's a need from you as an operator to give your input or to help with the blocking, then you're there trying to
I heard your cinematographer saying at the National Film School in London, like a couple of months ago when he was awarded, that the camera actually has to sit on a tripod first.
Yes.
And then you make a good frame.
Absolutely.
And you think whether actually you made a good frame. You think about that, then you correct it, and then you are there. Then you might start thinking about panning, but before you move, he said, the camera, you have to think a lot why you would do it.
I couldn't agree with that more.
In the discussion with the DP, is it fancy panning and up and down, or is it
absolutely not. It's all about the storytelling and finding the way to tell the story, improve the story that you're trying to say or trying to tell. It's very empowering when you move the camera, and but that only becomes a good idea when there's a good reason behind it. When the camera move is motivated, or again, there's a reason to why the camera is moving.
Is it discussed with the director, of the DP, who is
absolutely? Yeah, it's again, the discussion can happen between the director and the DP, with the operator, with yourself. Depends on the nature of the project. There's projects that they would want you to do a very special shots. You've been brought up or booked specifically to do these kind of shots, and then that's where maybe your input is a little bit more needed to just maybe help and help and choreograph, or help and block the shot, or help and see what's really possible, or how to do this specific shot.
Hey, Charlie, real quick. That's heavy. You want me to take that for you?
No, it's all good.
Okay.
It's part of your job as a Steadicam operator or as a Trinity operator is basically your physical stamina.
Can you move around? Can you take a couple of show a couple of shots? Like you said, you would approach low and then go up.
Again, like with the Trinity, it's the ability to hold the frame, and talking about like having a locked frame or starting with a tripod. Again, this is you can find that Trinity is able to hold the frame very solid, and you can easily mimic dolly shots where needed. If you need to whip fast and do much more dynamic shots, these are. Don't move.
So are people frightened if you get so close and fast?
Again, it's your job as an operator to establish a comfortable environment with the actors. They need to feel safe. So you rehearse the move, and the more that they see you that you're comfortable and you're in control with the rig.
Is there any security training to be certified as a Steadicam Trinity operator?
Well, not really. No, not with. You can do obviously. Sorry, yeah, you can do courses to start with your career, but this is something probably I've done over 15 years ago. And when I saw the Trinity rig over almost 2 years ago, I saw it at IBC in Holland. And it was straight away, like as soon as I saw the rig, I knew exactly how I can use it or what it can offer me. So yeah, after that, I got in touch with you guys at ARRI Academy, and I went to Munich, and I've done a training session with my friend there, Jörg.
The good thing is if he's doing the training, the people buy the system.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a classical thing, so that if people see what you can do, then you're convinced. Out of the brochure, you would not buy that because you would not understand. But as soon as you try it on and try to work with it and have a couple of tasks in our creative space, to go on that pink line or something.
Look, it's our job, work in the film industry, and moving the camera is something that you do all the time. And when you're on set and time is precious, having a rig that it's so versatile that can allow the DP to go through his coverage without really wasting much time by changing rigs or changing modes or whatever it is. It becomes like quite an incredible device, really.